Yo, how you doing? My name is Randy Moore. This is this is my first of hopefully many YouTube videos. Um, and I wanted to start this first YouTube video by just talking about my own personal coming to Christ story. Um, and so I can just go back to a couple months before I actually gave my life to Christ. I remember being at my sister's house over the summertime, and at that time all I really was focused on was basketball, playing basketball, talking about basketball, watching basketball. That was really the only thing I had my mindset on. And so they were already believers, and so coming into just I was spending a lot of time with them and just hearing a lot about God and the Bible and just revelation and all these things that it was like a different language to me at the time. I wasn't trying to hear anything they were talking about. When we talk about basketball, then I'm comfortable, but it was just, I don't know, everything, it was just really combative at that time. Everything that my brother-in-law would try to speak to me was just kind of, I always just try to find a rebuttal. I just always try to find or bring up what I felt or what I had believed at the time. And that's pretty much the mark of a fool, honestly. Knowing what I know now, that's exactly how you identify someone who sort of doesn't really know what they're talking about, but wants to appear as they do. They just want to just speak to hear themselves talk. They don't want to really listen, and that's where I was at the time. I didn't want to listen. I just wanted to, hey, I know some stuff too. It's not only you that has knowledge. So just through a couple months, just listening, hearing, responding back. It was, again, like I said, it was just a foreign language. So just through a couple months, through time, started wearing me down a little bit, because it's one thing to have a couple of days or a couple of weeks of just really being, hard-headed, but after a while he starts just wearing you down, because you start really giving heed to what they're saying, and it really starts to make a lot of sense to you at a certain point. It's like, I can't even argue with this anymore. It just makes sense. Like it's real. You know what I mean? Just opening my mind to different things, and especially even with basketball at that time, they opened my mind to the idea of just as a young black man. It's like, why is it the only way I feel I can be successful is either through sports or rap or something of the sort? It can't. Why don't I ever strive to be the owner or the CEO? And that was the first thing that was really combative. I was like, well, what if I don't want to be the CEO? What if I don't da-da-da and all these things? And it's like, the first epiphany I had is like, well, it is kind of true that, if the athlete gets injured, it's over, right? But, the owner could break every bone in his body, but as long as he has his mind, and as long as he has air, and as long as he has his position, right? And no one can call him and say, hey, you have to come play because we have a Christmas game and you can't be with your family. No, he didn't have to show up to the game. He could do whatever he want. And so that was the first thing that they opened me up to, which was at that time combative, but even through some time I started reconciling with that idea, and it made sense to me. It's like, like you really could just get one injury and your whole career is over. You lived your whole life and you were working your whole life for the sport, and one incident takes it all away. I mean, it's how feeble is that? Something you dreamed of your whole life, and it's just hanging on just you being physically, being healthy physically, or just being in shape physically. And if you're not, it's over. You know what I mean? And so that was the first thing. And even that, I started having that conversation with friends about, like, man, I've been thinking about this thing. Like, why is it that we feel like the only way to be successful is sports or rap? It's like, I think I just have more to offer to the world. And so that was like the first stage of my progression and coming into him. And so I kind of stuck with that idea for a while, and so my mind was open to that. And so at that time I actually really stopped playing basketball, which is, I'm saying that now, but at the time it was kind of weird, because like that's all I did, and then all of a sudden I just don't want to play basketball anymore. I'm just like, I don't want to hoop no more. It's like, I just like, man, I remember even just sitting down, we were watching Christmas games, and I'm like, man, it is crazy that they're not with their family right now. They're playing on TV and their family's at home, or even in the stands, but it's just, wouldn't you much rather be with your family? And so yeah, and so just, yeah, like I said, stuck with that idea for a while, and just um, after those few months, uh, went back home, and still carrying, still carrying, and then again, still having those conversations with friends, and just like I just had lost all sort of passion in basketball, and everyone's saying, "No, Randy, you can't stop playing basketball." It's like, what do you mean playing basketball? I'm talking to coaches, like, what do you mean you're not da da da? It's like, I didn't even have a good reason. It's not like, oh, I want to do something else. I just don't want to do this thing anymore. And I just remember at that point just started watching a lot of YouTube videos about, sermons and all these things, and people just talking about God, and I came across this one young man on YouTube, and he was just preaching a lot about how Christ's return is so soon, and it really caught my attention. The thing that really grabbed me was the urgency. It's just like, he's coming soon, and he's coming to gather up his bride, his children. And I know that sounds weird, but I'll get into that later. I know we're his bride and his children, but he's coming to get his bride, and it was just on my heart. It's like, man, 'cause I grew up in church. It's not like it's not the first time I'm hearing these things, but this, for some reason, me hearing it now was just different. It was just hitting my soul different, just hearing that Jesus Christ is coming soon. And now I know, of course, that was God calling me in, but at that time I just thought something weird was just happening. I don't know why I'm playing with these, but playing with some batteries, but yeah, so just kept watching more videos, and even as I was going to church, I was always watching every morning, and just like, man, that Jesus is coming back soon. Just thinking about that, like, man, this is crazy. It's running through my mind, and I'm just, man, Jesus is coming soon. And just watching these videos more and more, and it's like, it's just one day I was just doing the same thing I was doing a few days prior, just watching these YouTube videos about God and about the rapture and all these things, and I just suddenly just something came upon me to just get on my knees, and it was odd that I had never been so vulnerable, felt like that, or just like, I'm not saying I'm some tough guy, but I just never felt like, oh God, I never got on my knees and cried out to God. I just got on my knees, and I just was crying, and I just gave my life to Christ. And I remember I actually searched up on Safari, how do you get saved? I searched it up, and it led me to a Bible verse, and it says, if you believe in your heart and you profess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord, and those Bible verses, and I actually got in the Bible app on my phone, and I went to that scripture, and so I just took those words and said it aloud, and yeah, and then from there was just it was upwards from there, and just those few days after I actually was saved, just remember just getting into the Bible, just reading the Bible a lot, and still watching a lot of sermons, you know what I mean, and things just started opening up to me, just about purpose and destiny, and how life is just bigger than myself, and then how, for me, I was just thinking about how odd it is that I'm, at that time I was 16, I'm 16 and I'm saved. It's like, it was weird. So how am I gonna relate with my friends? Am I supposed to just drop on my friends? Because none of them know God. So it was like, what am I supposed to do? So it was like, it was weird. I was just going to school, and I just turned into some evangelist. I was just going to school just talking about God, man. Like, yo, like, you got it, yo, like, da 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 da. Yeah, life just became much bigger than myself. There's something that I feel like now I have a reason to truly live. I wasn't saying I was suicidal before, of course, not now, but it's just like, you don't understand purpose, true purpose, until you come to Christ. You don't understand, like, now I really have something worth even dying for, a cause, a calling, you know what I mean? Something bigger than just finding a good job, finding a career, finding something you like to do, but something that's just like, it's dealing with the eternal souls of men. And that was monumental in my life, Um, yeah, it was really big, and still is big. Just having that something in my life that's just bigger than myself, bigger than what I like to do or feel like doing, or and so yeah. So those months after coming to Christ, just reading the Bible a lot and um, praying a lot and just thinking a lot about how is life going to be different from this point, because now it's like I guess I'm not just a regular person anymore. Like I'm a Christian, like I'm a real Christian now. Like not just I go to church, not just I pray once in a while, but I really actually am born again. You know what I mean? And that was really interesting. And I remember just talking to my friends about God, and it's just like, man, you gotta. I didn't really know what to say, because it's like I couldn't even explain how I came to Christ, because it wasn't like someone came up to me and said, hey, you know, da da da. It just happened sort of, and so I didn't really know what to say to people. Like so like. Yeah, I'm kind of different now, I guess. I don't know. It's like people want to do these things. I'm like, nah, I can't do that no more. It's like, I don't know. And so, I think what I would say for anybody who's in that place right now, I suppose, because there could be people that are watching me in that place where they feel like God is drawing them in closer. I would just say to for you yourself to just keep drawing it closer. Just keep reading the Word, keep reading the Bible. If you have the opportunity, just keep. You have the resources. Get on YouTube and find people that are where you're at. Find people that are talking about God, and because I've talked to a few people, and they feel like in this particular season, God is calling them in closer. I don't know. I keep looking around, but they feel like God is calling them in closer, and so. I would say if that's you, I would say to listen to that. I would say to yield to that and just keep following it and keep, reading the Bible. I mean, I think a lot of people have come to Christ. A lot of people, a lot of celebrities even that had been to jail. They talk a lot about how it was always just that one person that just handed them a Bible, and in their lowest moment they just started reading it, and it's just like. God started opening himself up to them in that moment, and so that was big. I remember even actually, I think I posted this on Instagram. VOANG, a couple of you guys might know him. He used to do those videos where he would like steal something from a store and run away, and he actually came to Christ because someone in jail handed him a Bible, and in his lowest, in his darkest moment, he started reading the Word, and it just God started calling him in. Yeah, man, and I would just say, don't ever think that it's like, oh, because I'm 16 or I'm 15 or I'm 14 or whatever age you are, it's like, oh, too young for any. Man, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. I know who I'm called to be. There's a certainty in my life. There's a purpose, a destiny. Like, it's like, Randy, you're called to do this. Randy, you're here for this. Because you can't find purpose outside of Christ. You can't find purpose or destiny outside of God, right? Because He created us, It's sort of like Xbox and Microsoft. Like, Xbox can't function the way it's supposed to function without Microsoft. You know what I mean? And I feel like even as a human, of course, I'm much more intellectually designed than an Xbox, but it's the same principle that if I'm a creation, the only way to know what I'm called to do or what I'm made for is to know my Creator, to know why I'm here in this earth, because someone made me, someone put me here, and to come to know Him through Christ is the best decision you can make in your life. Just to find that purpose that's like, I'm here for a reason. Otherwise, everything else in life is chasing after the wind. Chasing after the wind, because you look at other people in the world that have reached certain heights, that don't carry the testimony of Christ, that don't know God. It always is that one storm that comes, and it sort of exposes that they never had any true foundation in their life. because Christ is the only true foundation in life, right? And so you'll reach a point in your life that a storm will come and it'll test your foundation. And coming to Christ is building your house upon rock. That's what he said. It's like you're building your house upon a firm foundation. And so when a storm comes, it's like the big bad wolf. Seriously, it's like the big bad wolf. When the wolf comes, and that's the opportunity to see how strong your house is, how strong your foundation is, if it's out of straw, you know. And that would be, in this context, whatever you're chasing after life, whether it's money or fame or all these things, all these futile things, that will be tested eventually, and see if these things were really true pursuits, pursuits worth the while, pursuits that had any real foundation, and it'll be tested. And you look at someone like Steve Jobs, who did all he did, and 99% of us have an iPhone in our pocket, right? But if you look at his life and how it ended, it's like the one thing money couldn't buy is health. And that's, his net worth at the time was like 18 billion or something like that. He's a billionaire, but what's that supposed to, that means absolutely nothing, because a storm came. That was his storm, right? You know what I mean? And it's like the foundation that he had wasn't, it couldn't hold against that. But me coming into Christ, knowing that a lot of people don't know this, because when we talk about Christ on the cross, we only talk about how he bore our sins, but he bore much more than just sin. He bore poverty, he bore sickness, he bore depression, grief, he bore everything that's ever plagued a man, anything that's ever brought a man down or was the cause of a man's destruction, he bore on himself. And one of those things, like I said, was sickness. And for me, you know, that's a storm that can't shake my foundation. You know, disease, not, I mean, how much people does that kill every year, every second, every day? You know, someone gets sick, someone falls sick, someone gets a heart attack, someone gets cancer. And the foundation I have, that storm can't break my house down, because I'm founded on a rock, which is Christ, who bore my sickness on the cross, who bore all my sicknesses and diseases on the cross. So then sickness can't touch me. It can't touch a believer, because we have a certain foundation. You understand? And that's just one. That's just one aspect. You could talk about anything else, finances, any other aspect of life. We have a certain foundation that makes it so that no matter what storm comes your way, you're founded on a rock. Like, it doesn't matter what wave or ocean or what, you're founded on a rock. And it's inevitable, storms will come. But what's your foundation? If your foundation is chasing after money, chasing after drugs or sex or all these things, you're not founded on a rock. And one thing I think is wise is to, whatever you're chasing, is to look at the end of a man or a woman who chase the same thing. Look at the end of the life. Look at the end of look at all of the celebrities that people idolize, and look at how crazy their lives are. I mean, it's a lot of them really have no peace. You know what I mean? Though they might be monetarily wealthy, there's certain riches that you gain when you come to Christ that can't be bought with money. You can't buy peace. You can't buy joy. You can't buy love. You can't buy happiness. Like, there's a lot of billionaires and all these people in the world that right now, if they would give every dollar they have, if they can get some sort of peace and stability in their life, where they can sit down and have a peace in their life. Like, I can live, I can breathe. It's because it's priceless. But these are the riches that Christ gives you, and there's no price for you to pay. He paid the price. These are riches. This is true wealth. Like, there's certain things that you have in him that money can't buy. Health, you can't buy it. And it's not about diet either. There's people that ate greens all their life, they died of a sickness. And there's people that didn't drink anything but Coke and smoke cigarettes. There's a YouTube video of a guy who's like 101 and he smokes every day and he drinks Coke and he doesn't even eat healthy and he's living to 100 years old. That has nothing to do with diet. It comes from the Lord. Health comes from God. You know what I mean? With true divine health, that sustaining health, that things that, you know, even that sort of health that it has nothing to do with your diet or anything else but just your relationship with God, and you're knowing and you're believing that he dealt with sickness and disease and plague on the cross, and it can't come nigh your dwelling, as the Bible says, because you abide under his shadow. And so, yeah, there's just That's what I really want people to understand. It's just, if we're just speaking about foundation, it's like, what is your life founded upon? You know, the pursuits, the things you pursue. What is your life founded upon? Because there's gonna come a storm that's gonna test it. And if Christ isn't your foundation, it's gonna fall. It doesn't matter what you built. It doesn't matter what you. Steve Jobs. There hasn't been many men that have. I mean, he's one amongst many men that have done very impactful things in his life. And he got sick one time, and he's done. And it's like, so, right? You look at all these people. They have, you know, you say, oh, they have money, but look at their families. The kids don't know them. They have this struggle, this problem. There's no peace. There's no, like, it's like, do you really want to live that kind of life? Because what's money without peace? Peace is priceless, right? What's any of those things without being able to enjoy what's in your life? I'm not saying if you come to Christ you're gonna be poor. That's far from the truth. But the kind of wealth that you attain in this life of Christianity, it's not a wealth that brings distress. It's not a wealth that, because in the world people get money but they lose their soul, right? In the world they get all these things, but it's always at a price. It's always at a price of peace. It's always at a price of ultimately their soul, but even other things at a price of even health for some, even at the price of sanity for some. But for us, we get Christ and gain everything else that comes with it. We don't lose anything. It's like it's priceless. We gain Christ and everything that comes with him, you know. And like I said before, the wealth that we get, the Bible says the blessing of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow to it. Meaning, when God blesses a man and makes him rich, he adds no sorrow to it. There's no price of your soul, or, you know, you prosper even as your soul prospers. This is Christ, you know what I mean? And this is what he offers to a man who just accepts him into their life. It's the things he offers can be bought with a monetary price. And so that's my story, and that's my little bit. I know this won't be the first video. I'm definitely gonna enjoy this. This thing is gonna be a blessing to my life and to many others, and we're gonna be, I guess, sort of a family. So thank you for listening, whoever's listening, and God bless.